welcome to a Walkie talkie. You probably quite rightly identify this as one of the subway stations, Kelvin Bridge. I've been meaning to cover this for a little while, but I've just been so busy with everything under the radar, sunshine, whatever. I read up SPT had spent northwards of £100,000 to buy dampers for our new subway fleet that you may have briefly seen, citing passengers had become, let's say, distressed about the rocking and the bumping that goes on. You know what, the Glasgow subway is not in any way immune. You know, it's it's like the Glasgow subway is like any other subway and underground system, where it will be bumping and rocking, not in the bedrooms though. Bumping and rocking is very, very, very normal. It happens in pretty much every underground or subway application really. But anyway, Glasgow subway had put in these, what you call dampers, almost the same way dampers work with cars, buses, you name it. Same old story, to reduce the bumping and banging and all that stuff, because the customers are saying it was making them feel nauseous, etc. Well, I've been using these new subway trains since they came out. I've never had any criticism for them, actually, and the bumping and rocking is not anything more or less than anywhere else with their applications. So I think, honestly, it's a storm in a teacup, these new trains, albeit nearly 8 years late, right? But they're here, and they're pretty decent. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I would kind of air caution with, is apparently these train units can be run without the use of human direction. There's probably a better term for it, but I don't really like the thought of them just auto driving round the network. Like any really, there's variables, constantly variables, constant variables, and any kind of AI type driving of these trains is going to come a cropper sooner than later. I think, yeah, having new subway trains is probably long overdue, but I also think to ditch a driver would be a grave error, because there are times where maybe signals will fail. The driver can deal with that absolutely fine, computers not so much. Potentially could actually cause a SPAD incident, signal pass at danger, right? You know, the humans can deal with things like signal failure or points failure, whatever, where computers don't really know what that is. No amount of ASCII type programming is going to change it any time in the future. I think the fleet are brand new. Here the old carriages are getting sold off, with a majority of which actually going to like local causes, which is really good. You know, unfortunately we have to let go of the old at one point and opt in for the new. you know, my personal opinion of the before they put the dampers on and now they've got the dampers on. See, to be honest, I actually don't see huge amounts of differences. Just enough difference to call it a difference. But overall, I think it was fine without. But you know, you've got to appease the customer some way. But ultimately, as a customer, yeah, I do see the difference, but it's nothing to cry or spilt milk over. So yeah, I suppose if it keeps a few people happier, and yeah, it's worth it. But 120k is obviously quite pricey. You know, it's the cost of I would say a decent house. Gee gosh, she's moving fast. Oh gosh, jeez, what a dick that guy is. Anyway folks, I think I've pretty much covered things, so I may as well hang the button up and get uploading. Usual thing, if you've got any topics you want me to cover, contact me in the usual ways. And until the next time, enjoy your work. I'm off to work.